Welcome to today's session. And today we'll explore what is sports psychology, why it matters to athletes, to coaches, to sports organizations, and also how it forms the foundation for everything, or I would say almost everything in sports. So this presentation will cover a few main themes. I would say two major themes. One would be the introduction to sports psychology, which will be about the understanding what the field is, where it comes from, about, let's say, some history about it, why also it matters for athletes at almost every level, from elite professionals to players who do sports recreationally during the weekends, for example. And second big topic of today is about motivation in sports. So, because once we really understand the basics of mental preparation, so the very next question is like what actually drives athletes to train, to compete, what is their reason, and how they persist in the face of different challenges, because sports environment is very challenging, as you may know. This session is designed to be both like theory and also some practical tasks for you. You will hear about history and research, but also examples and tasks and exercises you can do right away. So think of it as laying down the mental foundation brick by brick for everything we will build in today's session. So a bit more here, what we're going to do today here. So by the end of this session, you will be able to define sports psychology and understand its role as both an applied science and as a performance discipline. So two main things, applied science and performance discipline. And next, you will be able to appreciate why mental skills matter as much as physical skills, sometimes even more, I should say. Also, you'll be able to get familiar with some of key frameworks and history that is shaped by the field of sports psychology. And also, you'll be able to see real-world examples of how sports psychology works in practice, like actually practice. And finally, you'll be able to understand the role of the motivation, because motivation, you can see it as an engine that drives performance, resilience, and long-term athlete development. So we will combine research with practical insights and some short exercises and reflective exercises to keep this interactive and reflective. So why mental skills matter? In today's modern sport, physical ability is clearly not enough. At elite level, the physical differences between athletes are often very tiny. So what separates winners from runners-up, or what separates the first place from the second place, is usually the mental aspect, how mentally ready the athletes are. And it kind of reminds us that small margins decide outcomes, and mental skills are often the differentiator, like the first and the second place. This is a matter of mental skills. So imagine two tennis players with equal physical ability. It may not be possible in the real world, but like let's say there is two players with really equal physical ability, equal physique and body structure and muscle and everything. And one of them panics under pressure, but the other one thrives in this pressure. So how do you think who is going to win? So almost always the one with the stronger mental preparation, the stronger mental background is going to win. So mental skills don't replace physical training, they complement it. So it works together. Just like you train speed, strength, and endurance, you must also train focus, confidence, and resilience. Together, they form the complete athlete, but not like in terms of a perfect athlete. So it just builds athlete more as it builds more layers to the athlete competencies and skills. Yeah, so the mind and the body are not separate. They are obviously deeply connected. And in different neuroscience research, it is shown that psychological states directly influence physical performance. And when athletes experience stress, for example, our muscles tighten, breathing becomes more shallow, coordination might suffer a bit, and even most skilled athletes and highly skilled actions become a bit shaky. But when athletes are calm and focused, movements are more fluid, they are more efficient and precise. And think of a basketball player at the free throw line, for example. Physically, the action is simple. You are just shooting a shot. There's nothing hard about it, nothing difficult about it. But under pressure, under some sort of stress and anxiety, that can make hands shaky, that can make the vision narrow, and that ultimately makes the accuracy drop. So that's really how the mind and body is connected. And yeah, before we go deeper, I would invite you to do a short reflection and ask yourself, how do you currently prepare mentally before either training or competition? Um, Even if you are a coach, like how are you preparing? What is your approach to prepare for practice, to prepare for a game? Or maybe it's different way you're preparing for a road game or for a home game. And also, do you have any rituals or routines, or do you just show up and rely on just your physical preparation and readiness? Also, what mental challenges show up most often for you? Like, is it the nerves, the stress, the anxiety? Maybe it's hard to focus, maybe the lack of motivation or confidence. So there are no right or wrong answers here. The goal with this reflection is to build awareness, and you can't really improve what you don't first acknowledge. So I invite you really to take a moment to honestly consider your current approach, and you can either pause the video and take a picture of these questions and answer them later. So moving on from here, about the definition of sports psychology. So you could describe it as a study of psychological factors in sport and performance context. So, according to the APA, or American Psychological Association, it is both an applied and research-based discipline. And there's two main goals or main aims for sports psychology. One is performance. It is about helping athletes train and compete at their best consistency and consistently. And second of all, it's obviously well-being. If you hear psychology, it's also about well-being, and it's about supporting athletes in handling stress, balancing life and sports, balancing multiple roles at once, and also maintaining mental health. And yeah, it's not about just elite competition. It's also about using psychology to help anyone who engages in physical activity, from youth level, young athletes, to people who exercise every day or every once in a while. So that we have defined the sports psychology next. Why it matters at the elite level. So for elite athletes, mental mastery, I would say it's not an optional thing. I would say it's essential. And in research, a few researchers found that psychological characteristics such as focus, resilience, and adaptability are critical to elite pathways and in the same level as technical skills. So champions often train their minds as deliberately as their body. Hear me out when I say this. Champions often train their minds as deliberately as their bodies. Think of Tiger Woods and his visualization practices, or Simone Biles with her focus routines. So mental skills also support career longevity. If you think as as a career that you want to prolong as long as you want. So the pressure of professional sport is immense, And athletes without really no coping skills often burn out or quit early, even if they shouldn't, and even if they still have the potential to perform. Those with strong mental foundations, they maintain motivation and enjoyment for longer careers.